Hey everyone, it is October 15th and this is Buzz Weekly. I'm Adam Coombs.
I'm Ben Hagedorn.
And in honor of the Windows Phone 7 launch, this week is my Buzz Weekly. I'm using my social radar. I'm using my cell phone to check my email.
It's my start screen, my friends, my activities, my world.
I'm wearing my shirt. I've got my microphone. I've got my table, my chairs, my face.
My screen, my keyboard, my weight, my size, my camera, my speakers.
My Ben Hagedorn, my camera.
Your Ben Hagedorn.
I don't even know what's happening anymore.
Yep.
All right, sorry, that got a little out of control. But this week we're going to talk about Windows Phone 7 launch. It's kind of big news right now. We've got the set-top boxes, the web TVs. There's a lot of buzz around that stuff. It's really heating up these days. Google TV just announced there's Sony and Logitech having a Google TV integration. We've also got the miners were saved this week. That's huge. We're going to talk a little bit about some conversation that we had around that as well. So let's kick it off with Windows Phone 7. I got some good data on this. But first, let's kind of talk about this phone for a little bit. So, well, it's well known that I'm an Apple guy, right?
But it's well known that I don't even have a smartphone.
That's well known as well. Everyone knows that. However, so I did a little research on the Windows Phone 7. Wanted to make sure I kind of understood it for the most part. I haven't seen this thing yet, but I got to say that I'm pretty impressed with its appearance, with its simplicity. But I'm not sure how I feel about this thing yet. One thing I kind of feel like is they're coming in so late to the market that I don't even know if there's really room for them at this point.
Yeah.
Because, I mean,
well,
Android...
I disagree with that, but go ahead.
Why? Why do you disagree?
Well, I think at any point, if you can get more competition in a market, it's generally a good thing.
Yes, but I also feel like the developers, you got a lot of them devoted to Android and iPhone, and the apps are just blossoming right now, and it's continuing to become a better and better service the more apps you get. However, these people are going to have to start kind of building some stuff on the Windows Phone 7 to support that market as well, so then you're saturating the developers and the apps and all that.
I mean, the developers don't have to do it.
Well,
if the developers want to do it
them.
if they want.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally up to them.
Yeah. Well, at this point, it's hard to say, what's going to work for Windows Phone 7 if it's going to even be that successful. But I will say that I'm very interested to see what happens. I did a little research on the chatter around Windows Phone 7. It's actually it's not quite as positive as some of the other phones right now. People haven't really had a chance to really play with it much, but from what I understand, right now we've got about 75% positivity around Windows Phone 7. The iPhone is 84%, Android is 83%, BlackBerry is also around 75%. And we both know that BlackBerry is no good.
Yeah, I actually do know that.
You know that?
I know that as a nice point.
We agree. That's great.
Only because you've told me so many times.
Oh, well, yeah. Sorry, BlackBerry fans. It's not good. Get a new phone. Anyways, so any thoughts on Windows Phone 7? Do you even know what that is?
No, I don't really even know what it is. But I will say this. The smartphone industry and market is just beginning. And to go from two, maybe you can consider BlackBerry the third one, but to go from just two phones to three or four, I think is a good thing. That's my only statement.
More competition drives more innovation.
Yep.
So I guess we'll wait and see. Okay, so a little bit about these new web TV services coming out. You got Google TV, you got Boxee Box, Roku, and Apple TV.
Yep.
Now, well-known fact about Apple, every time they release something, they generate a massive amount of buzz. The iPhone always gets huge amounts of buzz all the time. iPods even major buzz. Mac even gets a lot of buzz. One thing that's very interesting, Apple TV is not the biggest buzz generator for the web TV solutions. Google TV has been recently.
So you're telling me that a product that's not even out yet beats a product
that's already out. People are not talking that much about the Apple TV, and I think the reason for that is it's just not that interesting.
It's just a hobby for them.
It's just a hobby, exactly. They admitted that it's a hobby, and I think they're treating it that way, and people just aren't that excited. They aren't generating that level of hype and excitement that they have for the other products. But it is only $99, and it looks like a hockey puck, so that's kind of cool. But we did a little research on this just to give you some numbers here. Google TV gets about 46% of the market share among the web TV chatter. Apple TV gets about 34%, quite a bit less than Google TV. This is over the last month or so. But overall, they do get less chatter. Roku, about 15%, and Boxee Box, only about 5%. So we did actually do a little bit of research on the different, kind of hot conversation topics among these services. And what we've got here is TV shows and movies generally tend to get a lot more Apple TV related chatter than Google TV and some of the other services. Also, videos, Netflix, music, topics like this tends to get a little bit more Google TV related chatter, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
And Boxee Box and and Roku actually get more Hulu conversation, which isn't surprising. Not a lot of them have Hulu integration right now.
Yeah.
Roku does. But what's really interesting about that is people are more excited about the Hulu integration on Roku than Netflix, even though Netflix actually made Roku.
Oh yeah.
So that's kind of interesting as well.
You know what I'm interested in?
What?
I think Google just made a car that can drive itself.
That's a good point. We should have covered that this week.
And I think that's interesting. And I think it's interesting.
Yeah, that's super interesting.
Google is just taking over the world.
Google is unbelievable. I'm going to jump in I actually have one of those cars. It's parked outside. It takes my orders, but
you're lying.
They sent it to me
That's
because
not true at
I'm
all.
actually on the list of people that like get to test the new stuff that Google makes.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I think you do because you saw me ride up in that car. I was
just
in the
not
back
playing
seat.
along. I'm sorry, I'm just
okay.
not playing along.
Just admit that I have one of those cars. And we
You
can
do.
move on. There we go. All right, so next topic, we're going to talk about the miners, and I want you to kind of kick that off because you did some really interesting research on this.
Yeah.
It's really exciting that these guys are rescued, but
It's amazing.
What were people talking
It's
about?
amazing. So I'll just kind of briefly go through two comparisons that we'll go ahead and show on your screen here. The first comparison that we see is before the first rescue drill reached the miners, so from 8:20 to 9:14. The second one that we're seeing here is after it reached it, so from 9:15 to a couple days ago, or yesterday, I guess. What we see here is there's really four major points that really stand out to me. First one, before the drill reached the miners, people were significantly more concerned about the health of the miners.
Sure.
Totally legitimate.
Yeah.
But look at it, though. It made up almost 10% of all the conversations. We also see that the second point that I'll make is that there was the same amount of discussion around difficulty at about 5.2, 5.3%. However, it became far less negative. We see that it went from 10% to 19%. And as it moves higher, it becomes more positive. So, 50 would be neutral, so on.
Sure.
And so we're looking at words like challenging or strenuous to be able to kind of find those things out. The other thing, too, that was really interesting, I thought, was let's take a look at maybe how the conversations fundamentally changed once the drill reached the miners. The way that it really changed was the addition of a whole new category, which was creativity.
Okay.
Creativity wasn't even being talked about before the drill reached them. Afterwards, then the internet was flooded with conversations of now how do we get them out? What do we need to do to save them? What's the experiments? Let's get imaginative. Let's get ingenious.
Do you think that people were originally kind of hopeless almost, and now they're like, oh, now there's actually a real opportunity to get these guys out. Let's talk about how we can do it.
I mean,
is that maybe why the conversation
I
changed?
think so. I mean, think about it. They were 2,000 feet down, and getting them out from that spot is very, very difficult. And it's a miracle that they did. But still, that makes perfect sense. The last thing, too, that I want to point out here is that there was over double the amount of conversations around expectations. So we see that expectations after the drill reached them spiked to almost 17% of all posts talking about the miners. And the positivity also spiked by 30%. It went from 63 to 84%.
See, I think that goes back to them having like all of a sudden they got this hope and they realized this is gonna work.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And then I mean, what a fantastic time, and congratulations to everybody that was part of that,
awesome
because
story.
that was just an amazing and really well run rescue mission, I think.
Absolutely.
So,
It's great. All right, well, that about wraps up your week. This has been Buzz Weekly. I'm Adam Coombs.
And I'm Ben Hagedorn.
And we will see you guys next week.
Thanks, guys.